Today we're going to be talking about call tracking, why certain businesses need it more than others, and why if you're not using it, you're potentially leaving thousands of dollars of advertising spend on the table. Also, if you like this video, please hit the like button, comment below with any of your questions. It helps the YouTube algorithm to get this video out to more people, and I would greatly appreciate it. Alright, so let's get into it. What is call tracking and how does it work? Well, call tracking is exactly what it sounds like. It is tracking the calls in your business and gives you the ability to see exactly what marketing channel those calls have come from. Obviously, this is super huge when it comes to spending money on advertising, things like Google ads, Facebook ads, etc. You might actually be spending money on the ads that you think are working, but with call tracking, you'll find out that another ad is actually working better. So let me give you an example of how we did this for a client of ours and how we actually ended up saving them thousands of dollars in wasted advertising spend. So one of my first clients, when we started with them, they weren't using call tracking at all. And they were a home service business, so in the HVAC industry. So they basically ran two different types of Google Ads campaigns. One Google ad campaign was a search ad, meaning that someone would click, go to the website, and they would have the option to call there. And the other ad was a call-only ad, basically meaning that the person calls directly from Google. So basically the two ads were running. The call-only ad had 20 conversions or 20 leads. The search ad had 10 conversions or 10 leads over the course of the previous month. The call-only ads were getting leads at about $100 per lead, and the search ads were getting calls at about $120 per lead. So what it looked like was that the call-only ad was performing better. Its cost per lead was less, about $20 less, and it was getting more leads. So their budget reflected that. They spent more than 75% of their budget on their call-only ad because they thought that that ad was getting them the results. But in fact, when we implemented call tracking, we realized that they're actually missing out on a huge portion of their leads. In fact, in this home service business, calls actually made up 60% of their total leads. So what that meant was that because they were only tracking lead forms, they were missing out on 60% of the data. So they're making guesses on their advertising spend based on only having 40% of the leads. So what ended up happening is when we implemented this call tracking, it actually turned out that the search ads were performing that much better. So the search ads were performing with 20 leads instead of the 10 that we could track without call tracking, and it was actually coming in around $60 per lead, where the call-only ads were still getting those same leads at $100. So we looked at it, and from an ads optimization, you want to put your budget toward your better performing ads. So this is exactly what we did. We just flipped that 75-25% over, and we put more of the budget to the search ad or the better performing ad. Now, without call tracking, a business would never be able to make this very simple change. And with it, we were able to turn down the ads that weren't performing and turn up the ads that were performing better. What this ended up doing is saving them thousands of dollars on their Google Ads budget. Now, this is why call tracking is super important to any lead generation business, as well as any local business or home service business that is generating calls. So you might be asking, well, do I need call tracking for my business? I almost always recommend call tracking because I strongly believe that being able to track all forms of leads is going to give you the best idea and the best view of what ads and what channels perform best within your business. However, with that being said, obviously some businesses rely on calls a lot more than others. Most home service businesses, this is contractors and roofers, flooring companies, they get a lot of calls for their business. A lot of people prefer to call them instead of, filling out a form or texting them. So this is super important to have call tracking set up. And in my opinion, it's an absolute must. Some other businesses, let's say like a club or a business that doesn't really rely on calls, it's not going to have as much value. But in my opinion, it's still worth it based on the cost of call tracking software. So we've said call tracking a bunch of times, and it might sound complicated. And you might be asking yourself, well, how does call tracking work? And it's actually a lot simpler than you might think. Using a software tool like Callrail, basically what it does is it dynamically changes the phone number on your website. So instead of showing your business's local phone number, it's now going to show a tracking phone number that they give you. Now, these tracking numbers also have your local area codes. And what happens is when someone calls that phone number, it forwards that call over to your phone number. So the customer never knows that their call is being transferred. But with that call forwarding, it gives you the ability to see what channel caused that call. It gives you the ability to see from a Google Ads perspective what keyword someone searched for before making that call. And what's even better is that when it comes to multi-device tracking. So I'll give you an example here. You search for a company, you see the ad on your computer, you click on that ad and you're looking at the website. You see a phone number. You pull out your cell phone and you call that phone number that you're seeing. In most cases, if you don't have this kind of tracking, your website is going to see these as two different people, two different interactions, and it won't track that first ad that they saw to the call that was made. With call tracking, it's different. They give you a unique number based on each visitor. So what this allows you to do is you can see which ad has caused that call. They know that the phone number that that person is seeing is from the desktop ad and not necessarily separate to the phone itself. What's even better is that it integrates right with your Google Ads campaign, so you can actually go right down to the individual ad that caused that call. So when it comes to optimizing your ads, you get a better idea of what ads are performing better and what ads are not, so you can turn off the underperforming Google Ads. Pretty awesome, right? Now you might be asking, is call tracking technical to set up? You might not have a development background, but I'm here to tell you it's actually quite simple to set up. If you have a WordPress website, with Callrail, all you have to do is download a plugin. Once you sign up for Callrail, it'll automatically change any of your phone numbers for you, so you don't have to do anything too complicated. I'm also going to be creating a video, a how-to on how to set up call tracking on your website with Callrail. It's the one I recommend, but there's also other good phone call tracking softwares out there like PhoneWagon as well. If you're not using a WordPress website, it also integrates with other types of websites like Wix and Squarespace. And an easy thing to do as well is it basically gives you a piece of code. You can just copy and paste it on your website, and that's another solution that you can do as well. So now you know why call tracking is extremely important to your business. You're going to know which industries call tracking is absolutely crucial for, and you're just going to be able to see what channels are working better for your business. Are you generating calls from Facebook ads? Are you generating calls from Google ads? Are you generating calls from your Google My Business listing? All of these can use call tracking and give you a better idea of what channels are really driving growth for your business. If you have questions at all about this video or anything I said today, please comment below. I do my best to respond to every single comment, and I do my best to help out in every way I can. Also, don't forget to hit the like button if you've liked the content so far, and feel free to subscribe if you want to get more content on local business and small business marketing. Until then, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.